Yeah, that 45,000 puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Everyone's thinking influencers making $1 million. That's why we wanted to talk about being inside the life of a social media influencer. Our guest, Alyssa Marie. She creates beauty content and has more than 200,000 followers across all of her social media platforms. She admits the journey to reaching monetization that matters and those paid partnerships. It's a good one, but it wasn't an easy one. And joining the conversation is lifestyle influencer Cimani Robbins and HR guru Sejal Brownlee. Now, you have an amazing story as well, but it's still a work in progress, right? Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about your situation.
Well, I would say for me, my career is very in its early stages as it relates to social media. Really with my full-time job that I do. So I'm still teetering that line between when do I take that leap? When do I start that journey? And I think for me, it's really been figuring when that is.
And what does your online content look like versus that daytime job with the benefits, so to speak?
Yes.
What's that like?
Well, in some ways it aligns. I'm in the hospitality industry, so I talk a lot about events and things that I want to put together, but really it started with just chronicling my life. So it was about marriage and building our home, and I now have a 1-year-old daughter, so it's about motherhood and marriage and how we do that together in my community.
And telling the stories that a lot of women can really connect with, right? It's how we juggle and how we make it work in whatever kind of work we're doing. And Sejal, for you spend a lot of time working with women on both sides of this, right? Sort of in the very high platform and still, working our way up, right?
Correct. Yes. So what we have to remember is that these skills are definitely transferable, and we need to focus on that. Like, your resume is important and you are the resume. But once you put that on the paper in the black and white, we have to make that stand out. And that is what I focus on with my clients.
And so how do you make it stand out? Whether you're transferring from corporate to online or transferring from, I'm just going to try this to, wait a second, who wants a partnership? How do you make those transfers, those skill transfers work?
So it's really focusing on being you and who you truly are. I'm really big about being authentic, right? So regardless of if you are an influencer or a non-influencer, again, those skills being transferable. Focus on what you do, how you do it, and that you do it well. And when you transfer that to that paper and you're reaching out to that recruiter or that hiring manager, you focus on those things and sell yourself to them.
Right. And Cimani, I know one of the things that you struggle with, like a lot of us, honestly, right, is you've put all this time into this content, and just tell me if this is the case for you too. You're like, you put all this time, you got the music just right, the edits are right on point, and it doesn't get the feedback that you thought it would get.
Yes, absolutely. All the time.
How do you learn how to retool?
I mean, I would say for me, it's really about finding what your audience likes. And so sometimes it is creating to, the audience that you create. But I think the important thing is remembering you do have a community. And so that community may have something that they're interested in. So maybe it's more about your motherhood journey, or maybe it's more about your beauty products, and kind of being flexible. And we do that in work, whether it's our 9-to-5 or social media. You have to pivot a little bit.
Yeah,
that's hard.
The shift, the pivot, the adjustment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that either of you have said, I'm never going to do that. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to do that again. Even if it was just a different kind of approach or strategy.
TikTok was one for me when I saw everybody dancing in the TikTok videos. I was like, I'm never getting on TikTok.
Yeah.
And here I am with a TikTok
TikToking
page.
away
Absolutely.
with those beautiful curls. Yes.
Yes. So
what made you decide to go that route?
Because I realized that people were moving in a direction, like brands and influencers were all moving in a direction towards TikTok, where TikTok provides a community where you can kind of be more authentic.
Yeah.
I feel like there's less pressure on TikTok to be perfect. There's a lot of times I just do a TikTok video, no makeup, hair is not really done, and you're just on there connecting with your people.
Authentic self.
Right.
How about for you?
I would say something similar. So I found instances, especially in this early motherhood journey, where I'm not done up. I'm not sitting down and thinking through all of my thoughts. I'm just turning the camera on. And so someone gave me some great advice, just start. And so sometimes I just hit record. And so it's hard to watch it back, I will say.
Yeah.
It's not my best self, but it yields good results.
It makes a difference. Yeah. Sage, I want to ask you, because particularly for more seasoned women is what we call ourselves. For seasoned women who struggle with what this looks like, but you've got some content that you know is going to connect. What do you find yourself having to tell us in terms of staying open-minded? Because I was just like, I'm not doing no TikTok. And I'm like, here I am dancing through barely.
Yes.
What do you say by generation? Is there a difference sometimes?
You know, there is a generational difference, but again, you just have to be authentic. Sometimes you do have to go along with the trends, but in that, you have to make sure that you don't lose who you are.
Right.
You don't
Because not
lose
every
you.
trend is for every
And it's
influencer or
not.
everybody just on social.
And
some
that
stuff
is
you should
okay.
not be doing. There's some
Right.
stuff I just know that ain't for me, right? Has that been the
Exactly.
case for you?
Exactly. Yes. And you have to do what is for you and realize that you aren't going to be for everyone. And that's okay.
You can't cast too wide of a net or you'll catch not a thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And we should point, you're a life coach as well. So that
Yes.
brings in some of just the conversations that you end up having with women about the whole picture, right?
Yes, indeed.
Very good conversation. All right. We're going to get a few more lessons here when we return. Coming up, we're going to learn the tricks and the trades to growing a large following on social media and how to stand out against all the other folks who are doing what you're doing, but not like the way you're doing it. So we'll talk about that when we return.